let me tell you about Tiddalik the Frog. Tiddalik was a frog who lived in Australia back in the dreamtime before the humans were there. One morning, Tiddalik woke up and he was very, very thirsty, so he drank up all the water in the streams till it was all gone, but he was still thirsty. So then he drank up all the water in all the rivers, but he was still thirsty. So then he drank up all the water in all the water holes and all the billabongs, and then he just sat there full of water, which meant there was no water left for any of the other creatures. The land became as dry as a desert. There was no water for the cockatoo, or for the galah, or for the wallaby, or for the kangaroo, or for the koala, or for any of the animals. They got together and made their plans. "Well," said the cockatoo, "with my beak I will peck him. I will peck the water out of him, and if that doesn't work, I don't know what will." So Cockatoo went up to Tiddalik and started pecking with his beak. Peck, 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 peck. But none of the water came out. Tiddalik just sat there full of water. So then Kangaroo said, "I know what to do. I'll squeeze him with my arms. I'll squeeze the water out of him, and if that doesn't work, I don't know what will." So Kangaroo got his arms around Tiddalik, or as far around as he could, and he squeezed and he squeezed and he squeezed. Tiddalik just sat there, and none of the water came out. And then the water snake started to do something very strange. He made different shapes with his body. Right in front of Tiddalik, he made zigzag shapes and curvy shapes and curly shapes and twirly shapes, and he moved around. He tied himself in a knot and untied himself. He span around, and Tiddalik watched. And as he watched Water Snake making these ridiculous shapes, he started to chuckle. A little bit of water came out of his mouth. And the Water Snake tied himself into knots and made shapes and spelled out words, and Tiddalik couldn't wait 1 second longer. He roared with laughter, and all the water came pouring out, and it poured across the land, and it poured into the streams, and it poured into the rivers, and it poured into the billabongs, and it poured into the water holes. And that's how we got all the rivers and streams and water holes that we see in Australia even today. They came out of the mouth of Tiddalik, that thirsty, thirsty frog. And that is the end of the story of Tiddalik the Frog. I wanted to send that story out particularly to Mrs. Morris, who asked me to tell that one. And I wanted to say a big hello to Killian. Hope you're enjoying the stories. If anybody's got a story they'd like to hear me tell, would you tell me either on the Twitter or through an email? I'd love to do a story for you. See you all. Have a great day. Bye.